Good afternoon, everybody. This is Brenda Perryman. I'm back on today because last week I had Lewis Manley Jr. on with his incredible Negro League collection and a collection of black sports figures from not only baseball, but football and other sports. Anyway, he's back, and the transmitter was down, so I promised to have him back, and here he is. How you doing?
Oh, I'm great. Glad to be here.
Oh, I'm glad you are back because nationwide needs to see this. It's so internationally, too, because I believe the world is our playground.
Yes, I agree with you 100% there.
You know, unfortunately, for some people, the playground is their world, but the world is our playground.
Ours.
And Lewis, let's kind of go quickly through the idea about you starting to collect. What was the first thing you collected?
Wow. I'd have to go back to 10th grade. My father purchased 2 baseball cards for me, a 1970 Hank Aaron card and a 1972 Willie Mays card. You know, so, and at that time, you know, I said, okay, this
Do
is
you
interesting.
still have those cards?
Yes. Actually, the 1970 card of Hank Aaron was the very first card that I received autographed. Yes.
Wow.
So yeah, that's a story behind that in itself. So how that happened, but yeah, I still have the 2 cards, and I've been running ever since.
Yeah. Now, are those cards worth anything in the marketplace?
Oh, definitely. Well, first of all, everything I do is autographed. When you have an item autographed, it takes it to another level.
Okay.
The personalization is also, as far as collectible, when it's autographed, that's the highest level of collecting that you can have on a collectible.
Oh, okay, autographs. So, I remember you saying that you got those 2 cards, and then you didn't pursue it.
Oh no, I didn't pursue collecting at all at that point. Being in high school, your mind is all over the place. You know, you're trying to get those grades and get out of school. First of all, you know, that's priority in the house. So, what happened was I received those 2 cards, and I started collecting regular baseball cards. Started going to the shows on the weekend, you know, from time to time.
Well, I have to ask this question. Remember I told you I had Mickey Mantle? I had all these people from the 60s.
Money.
This was in the, 61. I had
Money.
cards and everything. And I had a stack of baseball cards. And I kept them nice, just like those baseball, because here in the city, we played more baseball than basketball.
Exactly.
And so baseball was more, we liked that more. In fact, across the street from my school, Chico Fernandez lived. And we said, oh, that's Chico Fernandez's, and he lived in a flat, upstairs flat or something. Yeah, he and his family.
Yeah.
So what if I would have gotten signatures and...
Well, even without the signatures, 1961 Mickey Mantle goes for about $750.
Wow.
Mays about $500 from that year.
Wow.
The biggest rookie card that year, 1961, would be Willie McCovey, his rookie card. So,
oh, wow.
You know, we're talking $300 or $400 for those cards.
And people hold on. Why do people collect?
Well, it's a connection to the childhood or a connection to the time frame in their life. So it's personal.
Or a connection to history.
Correct. Of their lives. So it doesn't matter how old you are or what color you are, or you know, it's not an age thing. It's a personal thing.
Wow, amazing.
Yes,
okay,
yes.
so then after that, okay, you had that, you let it go for a while, you graduated from
Yeah.
high school.
Graduated from high school. Actually, I would say my senior year in high school, I had a black literature class. And at that time, that's when I did a report on the Negro Leagues. And at that time, that's when I got into Satchel Paige and Jackie Robinson, and a light bulb went on. So I was already collecting Major League Baseball, and
You were
I
collecting,
collecting at that point, going to
was it a
shows.
casual collection?
Oh yes,
When you,
definitely, definitely.
okay.
I would have my little side job. I would spend all my money on baseball cards, all of them. So,
Wow.
and I wasn't doing autographs at that time. I was
Uh,
just doing baseballs, baseball cards and baseballs. So, I would say I graduated from high school and was going to a card show one weekend, and down in Plymouth, Michigan, actually, at the Holiday Inn. The Holiday Inn is not there anymore, but it used to be in Plymouth, Michigan, a card show. And I went there one time, and an older gentleman was there, African American named Lou Dials, who happened to be an old Negro League ball player. Now, just show you how you think when you're young, you don't hear what you're seeing in front of you, you don't recognize what you're seeing in
right.
front of
The
you,
value
the
of it.
value of it, and you let it go past you. Well, I only stopped to speak to him out of respect. There was only two African American people there, me and him, out of the 400 or 500 people. So on my way out the door, I decided to stop, as you know, out of respect, and speak to him. And I spoke to him. He introduced himself, and I introduced myself. And he had a little box of cards there, and it was pictures of old Negro League ball players. So he told me he had played from I think it was 1933 to 1949. Lou Downs played outfield, second base, and shortstop. So he had a set of cards there, and he says, "Do you know anything about the Negro Leagues?" And I said, "Well, no, not really. You know, I know about Jackie Robinson.
Well,
You
you
know,
did your report on it.
Yes, but I didn't know that.
The
That's
gravity of
right.
it.
See, what you have to understand is what people put, what society puts in books is
Oh.
1%.
Yeah.
That's not the real.
Yeah,
It's
you're
usually
right.
not true, and you're definitely not going to get the whole story. So what I knew was nothing compared to what the reality of it was. So he introduced me. He says, "Well, do you know about the Negro League?" And I said, "No." I said, "I know about Jackie and Josh Gibson." Who didn't know about Jackie and Josh Gibson if you went
Right.
to school? You know, that's all they're going to tell you. Okay. So he says, "Well, no, it's much bigger than that. Here's a set of cards. If you can get this set for $10, this is how we make money on the side. You know, to support ourselves." Because at this time he's 75, 80 years old. You know, and he said that's how we raise money to support ourselves. And there's an address listed in here, and you can send these cards out to guys and just say hello to them and ask them to sign these cards. So I was like, "Oh, okay." I'm thinking,
Well,
I'm
you
not even
said,
interested.
oh,
I wasn't even interested. I heard him.
but here's the difference between you that at that time.
Uh-huh.
When I was in high school, I didn't even know there was a Negro League.
Yeah.
All I knew was there was Jackie Robinson and the black players on the majors.
Exactly.
But I didn't know where they came from.
Yes.
So go on.
So I bought the set, $10, had an address list of 80% of the ball players in that box of where they lived, went home, threw it in the closet. Never thought about it again for about roughly 10 years.
You're kidding. 10?
10 years.
It was 10?
10 years. I had moved out and got my own place and, you know, living in my house. I happened to run across the set again, and I looked at the set. I said, "Wow, I remember this set. I remember this guy." I said, "Wow." I started looking at it. I said, "Wow, I wonder what's going on with these guys." So and I still didn't really push into it. By this time, I'm traveling the country doing, you know, going collecting.
Right.
So saw him in Chicago. It's probably 1990.
You saw the same man?
Same man. 10 years later, 8, 9, 10 years later in Chicago, 92, 93, 94, right around in there that year. And I saw him and spoke to him again. And I told him who I was. He said, "Oh, okay." He didn't remember, you know, but he remembered but didn't remember the situation. He says, "So what did you do?" And I told him, he says, "Well," I says, "I really hadn't sent anybody out." He says, "Well, you know, most all those guys on this are gone now." He says, "But, you know, I think he was 95, 96 at the time." And he says, "But, you know, it's not too late to start doing your research." And I said, "Yeah, you're right." So I come home, and there was a Negro League gathering of old Negro League stars at the Domino's Farms
Up
in
near Ann Arbor.
Yes, it was the first show ever done with former Negro League ball players. And the promoter's nephew, I was good friends with him, so he asked me, he told me you should come. So I came.
How happened you were the promoter's
Friend? It's crazy,
yeah.
isn't it? Because he's collected.
Oh, okay.
He collected baseball. We would
Okay.
go to shows together. But I never had ventured into what his uncle was doing until that day. So I showed up at the show. They said, "Bring your camera, You know, we can do interviews, questions, and all this. It's gonna be nice. You know, I said, "Oh, okay." Brought my camcorder super early because I'm there with him because his uncle setting up.
Right, right.
So it was a huge crowd. I would say 5, 6, 700 people showed up for this event. For
Really?
15 ball players that were there from the old Negro Leagues. So to make,
Were they mostly black
oh
or
no, no,
what?
no, no, no. I would say out of the group there was probably, besides the players and their families, if you take them out of the equation, I would say there's probably maybe 10 black people out of the
Wow.
whole 700, maybe 10. But this is really going to really blow. This is what blew my mind and woke me up.
Okay.
So the question and answer session starts, and they introduce the MC. 12-year-old Caucasian boy from Chicago comes out, and he is the MC.
Oh God.
12 years old, he knows all the history of the Negro Leagues. He knows all these players personally. He can tell you when they started, when they ended, who they played for, their history, what they did, and everything. And I'm sitting up here 23, 24, and don't know anything outside of Jackie Robinson and Satchel Paige. Needless to say, that was the last day that ever happened.
Right, right.
So I was on fire ever since then.
Okay.
So, since '94, I've been doing Negro League history.
Wow, that's 25 years.
Yes,
25
25
years.
years.
So what did you do? How did you get started?
Well, what happened was, even connection to that same show where we're in line getting a bat signed. I had purchased a jersey because it was one of the last jerseys left, and I didn't want to look crazy missing it, not having anything from this big event. So I bought the jersey, and the jersey was a jersey of replica of 1946 Newark Eagles jersey, flannel jersey. So I bought that, and I was wearing it. I was standing in line to get my bat signed by everybody, all these legends that are there. And one of the players, Double Duty Ratcliffe, which we will talk about later, had stopped the line because he needed to eat. Now, Double Duty would stop whatever he wanted to do because he did what he wanted to do with it.
Right.
So
right.
I stopped the line, and I'm stopped right in front of a ball player. And the ball player's name was Leon Day. He's now in the Baseball Hall of Fame. And he says to me, "Son, what's your name?" And I introduced myself, and he says, "Do you Manley?" He says, "Did your family, you kin to the Manleys that own the Newark Eagles jersey like you have on?" And I says, "Huh? I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so." So you know how I felt at that moment. He says, "Well, you need to check into that, son." I said, "There's not many Manleys around, and I they were good people. I mean, and they owned the team, and this, that, and the other." So I went on and did some research and found out 10 years, about 7, 8, 9, 10 years later, that they were distant relatives. So we did own a Negro League team back in the 40s.
Wow.
Yes, the Newark Eagles out of New Jersey. And they did win the World Championship in 1946.
Newark.
Newark Eagles, yep, Newark
Wow.
Eagles. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they had Negro League teams in how many different states or?
Well, that's hard to say. You got to understand the Negro Leagues became the Negro Leagues as far as an entity and an official league in 1920. But before that, in 1901, 2, 3, 4, 5, there were Negro League teams before the league became official. All over the country, mostly in the South, and what they were called, played in the Sandlot leagues before they became the Negro Leagues.
It just really gets my heart that we want to do. In those days, we wanted to do things, but we couldn't
Exactly.
do them. We wanted to highlight our talents, but couldn't do it.
Exactly.
But we still
Pushed
found
through.
a platform.
Yes.
That's the.
That's the thing about African Americans. We're resilient, and we've done so much that's always covered up in the public. Whether it comes to being doctors and being first in doctors,
Well,
heart
you
surgery,
think
and
about
everything
it.
else.
You really think about it. When I couldn't understand it, even though I was an adult, when Hank Aaron was getting ready to break that record, why people were so upset. I said, "Why? I mean,
What's the problem, right? And what are you afraid of?"
that pudgy Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, really,
Yeah,
seriously.
yeah. This, I don't know. It's something about black people that society seems to have an issue with, or scared
Or
of.
society thought there was a place for them, and the place wasn't.
It's being taken away from.
Been
Yes, and
taken away.
Right. They want to keep us in our corner. They want to be able to control what we do and what we don't do, what we accomplish and not accomplish.
Well, it just seems to me like money started talking. That's why how Jackie Robinson got in the league,
Mm-hmm.
and all of these great players. They or okay, maybe it was the benevolence or altruism of the owners to say we need to open this
Mm-hmm.
up.
Well, really, that's a whole story in itself too. First of all, there was never really a rule, never a written rule that kept African Americans out of Major League Baseball. That was a rule, it was a spoken rule, but never a written rule. One of the owners did not want an African American to play on the team, and he was the best player out there. So he said there was a rule that they couldn't do that. And then when they had their meeting of all of the owners, they voted verbally that they're all going to stick together on this. This is 1915. So
God, it sounds like Colin Kaepernick.
yes,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
we're
yeah.
not going to have
We're
him
not
on.
going to do it. So this was a verbal. There was never a written rule keeping us out.
Okay,
So
I didn't know
yeah,
that. I
that's
didn't know
that's
that.
all verbal. It's never written. You know,
Okay.
so they just colluded together and said they were going to do that. And that's how it happened for 50 years. For 50 years, they kept black people out because of an agreement, you know, along together with the owners, and it was not never put in law. It was just something they just verbally had a meeting and said, and they all stood together for all the way into 1945.
So you started collecting,
Mm-hmm.
and one thing you did with the collecting, you got autographs.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
that, to me, that a lot of times I was satisfied back in the day with just the card,
Right.
but you mean an autograph? Now, an autograph card, would that be worth more?
What happens is with the, what puts your autographs on a higher level. Everybody can, if you're into it, you can obtain an autograph if you can get to that person. But in the autograph field, unfortunately, it's three different levels. How common is it to get to that person? That's one level of value. Second level is, are they in a higher, how great they were in their career, okay, or in the political field, you know, what are their accomplishments? And then the third level, unfortunately, is once they have passed on.
Deceased.
That changes everything.
Okay, I'm going to take one example. For example, when not Little Caesars, University of Detroit was, they were recruiting my son for basketball. And one of the little artifacts they gave him a baseball signed by Alan Tramble and a hockey puck signed by Steve Eiserman. And so that was 20-something years ago. Would those eventually be worth something?
They already are. They were worth something then. Now both of those people
they're
are
in
in
the
the
Hall
Hall
of
of Fame in hockey and baseball. Trammell just going in last year in 2018, and a signed baseball of Alan Trammell was about $75, and hockey puck is about $150 for Steve Eisman.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I know he has that stuff. I finally gave it to him because if I gave it to him in the dorm, he would have
Oh, yeah.
lost it.
Right,
so
definitely.
I kind of held on to that
Good
stuff
move.
because I didn't know if it would ever be worth anything.
Oh, definitely. And that's not just because of Detroit. That's national. Those prices are national. That value is national. When you hit the Hall of Fame level in any sport or any category, whether it's journalism or sports, that
Or
that sends you in the
entertainment.
entertainment. It doesn't. Any Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame is next to your name. That pushes the value up.
Now you have this Sweeties box, which I love, and this box. What year was this?
That's from what that is, a commemorative piece that Wheaties did for the 75th anniversary of the Negro Leagues. So they released that in 1997, and that is a very limited edition. That run was available to the public for about roughly a month in the stores national-wise.
What years again?
1997 is when they produced the box.
Okay.
Yes, for about about 1 month. And I probably had, at one time, when I first obtained those, I had 25 of those boxes.
Really?
And I would travel with all 25 of those boxes around the country, getting those autographs from different Negro League ball players from their houses
Wow.
for public events. Or
Now
sometimes
these
I
are
bring them in.
authentically there.
Oh, yes. That's got about 60 autographs on it. Definitely.
I see.
All obtained in person. And everybody on there now is deceased. I believe everyone on there is deceased now. Yes.
Wow, Ron Teasley.
Except Ron Teasley. I'm sorry. Yeah. He's
Are you-
probably the only one.
Yeah,
That's
I
our
know.
Detroit Ron Teasley, yes.
Right.
Everyone else I'm looking at, I believe, is gone now at this time.
Bert Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
Felix Delgado.
Mm-hmm. Puerto Rico, very tough to obtain. Yeah, I met him in Florida at a reunion. Emilio Navarro, he's another one. He lived to be 106 years old.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Great guy.
Casey Jones.
Yeah. Chicago American Giants. You had a lot of history there. You had Bobby Robinson there. He played for the 1924 Detroit Stars. He had an unassisted triple play. Unassisted triple play.
Unassisted.
Yeah.
He did it
Yeah,
himself.
he did it himself. The line drive to third base, ran and tagged the guy out who was running third. That was two outs, and then threw the first.
Wow.
So,
Amazing. So what happened to the rest of the boxes?
well, I have them. I have probably still 14 left. All the rest have been sold.
What are you going to, oh, you sold them.
I sold the extras. What I do is I always, it's another level of collecting. You never settle for one item. If you're going to obtain something, if you're going to collect something, be smart about it. And what I mean by that is have 2 to 3 items. And what that does, that gives you power. That gives you trade power. That gives you sell power. So if you find something else, you can always bargain and sell one of those extra items so you can obtain something else. And that's how I made my collection super grow so fast, is because I haven't really spent a ton of money except for when I needed to. But for the most part, I do a lot of trading and selling on
Okay.
extra items that I have signed.
This is fabulous.
Yes.
So you encased it in
Yes.
here.
Yes. Yes. That's,
Now,
so the
who
fingerprints
makes
are-
these cases?
Oh, there's a couple different manufacturers. That that's all they do is protection for items.
Is that Jim Zapp?
Yes. Yes, Julie. Yep, Jim Zapp played for the Birmingham Black Barons, played teammate of Willie Mays when Willie Mays was in the Negro Leagues.
Really?
Yep, he was on the 1948 Birmingham Black Barons World Championship team. Yes.
I had a Willie Mays baseball card.
Oh, yeah. Yes, Mays
Yeah.
stuff never goes down.
I told my mother she ruined my life. Because I kept a lot of junk. I always just kept stuff.
Yeah, but that's good because African Americans tend to do this, and I've been doing this a while now. We don't value our heritage, our items, our lives, as far as things that we come across in life. So the records, the sports memorabilia, the pictures, the interviews, all that stuff. 99% of the time is lost or thrown away because we don't need that. And then as soon as someone's looking for it, oh, I had it, and it's too late.
Right. Now, the Tuskegee Airmen,
Mm-hmm.
are these Tuskegee Airmen signatures?
Yes. What that is an item in the GI Joe commemorative item rather of the Tuskegee Airmen, and I can't exactly remember the year, but I believe it was early 2000s, 2005 or 6.
What persuaded the companies to do this? Do you?
I think what happens is sometimes it's funny, it's by chance, just like how I end up doing something with the Harlan statues. I met the president on a whim at a show, and then she got interested, and that's how that came about. So chances are someone met or someone had a meeting, that they had an idea, and they said, why not? We need to give them some love, because around that time, a lot of the war history was really starting to come out, especially about what the Tuskegee Airmen did. And a lot of commemorative pieces were coming out around that time. So what they decided to do is have a national reunion at the Tuskegee Air Base, which I grew up from down the street. My grandparents and parents grew up in Tuskegee, and so
yeah,
I was at
yeah.
that great reunion, and it was unbelievable. Channel 4, NBC, ABC, all the world news was there, and it was probably about 200 plus Negro
I look at the pride.
Tuskegee Airmen still alive
I
there.
have to tell you this. It just makes me just kind of choke up looking at the pride that they have in some of these signatures, everybody. Al Buford, Buford A. Chisholm,
Mm-hmm.
and 99th First something Squadron.
Yeah, that's 99th Fighter Squadron. That's from the Tuskegee Airmen.
And
That was
crew chief.
that was the one that did all the flying as far as
Oh,
in
man.
war. In war, and you got Alex Jefferson, who was and still is the oldest living, highest ranking African American in the military. He is a colonel. So yes, and he is from here. He's here in Detroit right now.
What year? How old is this
I
man?
think Mr. Jefferson's about 95 or 96 now.
Yeah,
97,
that
right
is
around there.
possible.
Mhm,
Yeah, that is. possible. I was just thinking, I said they fought this, and then I realized, I said, my mother's 99,
Mm-hmm.
and she was born in 1919.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
this is her
And
100th
he's
year.
still in his right mind and everything.
So is she.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe we should
Yeah.
introduce it. No, I'm just, I'm so silly.
I tell you what, it's definitely a lot to learn from them. That's
Yes,
just how
and
about life, period.
I mean, where they put
Mm-hmm.
what they were a member of,
Exactly.
and Mutiny 101,
Right. So
and
what you're looking at is their squadrons
yeah,
from the
yeah.
Tuskegee Airmen, what category they were in with the Tuskegee Airmen.
But the pride,
Oh,
the
no doubt.
pride,
No
that's
doubt.
what I'm saying.
No
The
doubt.
pride is fabulous. Now, what do we have here? These, I would, do they sell these at different times of the year or
No,
what?
no. I own every piece of these that are still available. I own them. You'd have to contact me. What you're looking at is,
Oh, well.
and I do have them available. Please contact me, and there are pieces for sale. What you're looking at here is, once again, I was at a card show, and by this time I'm doing Negro League history research, real heavy, probably 10 years, 15 years at this point, and I knew Buck O'Neill and all of these other Negro League legends were very well at this point. And I'm at a show in Chicago, and the owner of Heartland Statues was there with their huge display, selling their other statues of Major League Baseball players and, political people and all of this. And she had a statue of Buck O'Neill there. And I looked at it and I said, yeah, I got one of these. I know Uncle Buck. I call him Uncle Buck at this point.
Uh-huh.
And she said, oh, yeah, you do? Blah, blah, blah. Yes. I said, yeah. She said, I'm very interested in doing Negro League ball players, but I don't know how to get in contact with them. I said, well, I know them. She said, you do? I said, yeah. I said, well, I'll tell you what. Call Mr. Buck O'Neill and give her a few Uncle Monty, Monty Irvin, Hall of Famer. I gave a few names and said, give them a call and for a reference on me. And after you talk to them, give me a call back if you're still interested and I can help you with it.
Right.
So she did her research on me, called me back in 2 days and said that you come really highly recommended and, and I would love for you to run my Negro League line in Heartland for Heartland Statues in Ohio. So what happened was, to make a long story short,
What part of Ohio?
I never had to go there. I always meet her in Toledo at the warehouse. So so that's where me and her would meet as far as handling business and bringing them in. I was named in charge for the Negro League line for the Heartland Statues, and I designed 24 Negro League statues over
Now,
the years.
when you say you designed, what about the faces?
What we're looking at is a complete replica of that specific player. This is a real player.
Yeah,
That's Harold B. Bob Gordon. That is his likeness.
And this was the owner of...
Yes, it's Minnie Forbes, still alive. Still alive, the last living owner of a Detroit, of a Negro League team, period, in the world. And she's here in Michigan, and each one of these statues is only 100 made. They're numbered on the bottom, and they are autographed by the players. And they come with certificates and everything, and pretty much all sold out. They're all sold out from the company, okay? And what happened is they were going so quick. I had to get a few for myself.
I know.
So what I did is I was in control. I would design the statues, the coloring and their likeness and everything, and then made sure that their contracts were signed and they got paid up front and for the likeness and the autograph session. And they also received the first 10 of each statue. They received the first 10.
Well, let's look through these. We're just talking and time is flying, and I want people to see this. Now, these are...
This is one of the powerful team from the Negro Leagues. Homestead Grays 1940. This is a team photo, and it's signed by about 5 players here, all deceased. All deceased players from the old Negro League team from 1940 Homestead Grays.
Wow, 1940.
1940.
Jeez. What, I mean, this is just amazing. It's amazing. I imagine, I wonder how tall they were. He is black.
Okay, that is Wilmer Fields. He is black, and at that time, as you probably know, sometimes we would go to certain places and we can get in and they call it passing, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Wilmer Fields is a great example of not taking advantage of the situation. He stayed true to his culture and who he was. Wilmer Fields was offered a contract 3 different times by Major League ball clubs in the 40s, as long as he would say he was not black.
Wow.
He refused all 3 times because he's black. He's just very, very fair skinned, and he was a great pitcher. He had a 15-year career.
Well, Branch Rickey wasn't around, was
No,
he yet?
no, that was before Branch.
I remember some things
Yeah,
from my
oh, you're
past.
on top of it.
Okay, now what do we have here?
What we're looking at is Memphis Red Sox from 1949. And what you had is a lot of times
That's 70 years ago.
yeah, yes, yes. And everyone on there is autographed by 7 ball players. But one key name here that history, no matter if you're into baseball or not, knows: Lionel Hampton, the great musician.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
That's right. Because you said he owned.
Yes, he owned the New York Black Yankees for about 9 years. Yeah, which is a Negro League team.
That was
And
such a funny name.
here he is right here.
Talking to the mic.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. And there he is right there.
Well, okay, I can hold the pictures.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. See,
Lionel Hampton.
a lot of times entertainment and the ball players, they ran together.
It
you
still
know?
does.
Still do.
They still do. They still do.
They still do. So what we got here's a great example of what I was just saying, how entertainment and sports ran together. This is the great Lena Horne throwing out the first pitch at a Negro League game in Baltimore for the Baltimore Eli Giants.
Well, I bet those guys went crazy.
Oh, you know it. Look at them. They're standing around. Like couldn't wait to get close to it.
And it's a signature by Lena Horne down here.
Definitely. It's autographed
How
Lena
did
Horne.
you get that?
Well, I got that piece in an auction. I have never met her in person when she was around. Had the pleasure to meet her.
But you know, everybody, you can't see this up close, but those players, they grinning and skinning.
Grinning hard.
They are grinning and skinning.
Grinning hard.
Oh, wow.
Definitely. It's one of my favorite pieces because she was great in her time. Not just for us, but as a society, period.
Right.
Her music touched everyone worldwide,
You know, and it was always so surprising about her because when she opened her mouth and talked, she talked like a black girl. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't colored up, and she was real. She was real.
I know, she did.
Yeah.
And that was an inspiration to me.
Definitely. Good to know. So what we have next is some pieces. We had our own magazines. Before you knew Ebony, we had our own magazine called Our World. That came out in the 40s. And 1947 was his first and only year. Actually, it only had 8 issues. 8 issues. Very rare, very
Who was
rare.
the publisher of this, do you know?
Now, I know that Jackie Robinson was part publisher and part owner of that
really?
magazine, yes.
So that's how he got on the cover?
Yes.
He's on the cover of this one.
Definitely, yeah. Very tough magazine. Very, very tough magazine. Any Arwell magazine is very tough to obtain and very sought after.
Oh,
Did not print many at all. And then we moved to the next level.
Jackie Wilson, Ebony.
Yes.
He and his family.
Yes. 1947, Jackie Robinson and his family. Jackie Robinson Jr. and Mrs. Robinson gracing the cover in 1947.
And last week we didn't show this.
Yes. See, we were heavy into advertisement. You don't hear about it. But the black dollar was powerful as it is now, was as powerful back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, too. And Joe Louis was one of the biggest names in the world, as we probably already know. And as you can see, they're having advertising anything from cigarettes on this ad to automobiles to housing.
Chesterfield cigarettes. I hadn't heard that name in a long time. Oh, that is something.
Yes. It's black. Let me just say one thing. The black dollar has always been powerful.
Yeah.
One thing that people don't know, the Negro Leagues, which, as I said, was officially started in 1920, 20s, 30s, and 40s, the Negro Leagues was the second largest black business in the country, next to insurance.
Really?
Yes. Owned our own stadiums, owned our own teams.
Who wrote their names down in here?
That is whoever previously owned this. They hand wrote that across there. Yeah. Maybe I don't know if they thought they were going to forget who it was or not, but
yeah. Here.
I got the all right.
Now, Lady Sings the Blues. Why do you have?
Because iconic, collectible. What this is an ad card. This is an ad card that they were sending out to the movie houses to to advertise the movie before it came out, and they only made a certain amount. There were only 393 of these in the world.
Oh, and it's numbered.
Right. So what happens is they would send these to the movie houses. so you know what's coming.
This is Diana Ross and Billy D.
That's
Williams.
correct. Yeah, and what happened was
All I
99%
see is
of
Billy D.
So these are collectibles because they're 99% of them are always torn up or thrown in the trash. So it's very hard to find a lobby. They were officially called lobby cards, and because they would put them in the lobby of the movie houses. You know. Now, one of my most favorite pieces. This is the great Coretta Scott King, and it's autographed. Life magazine.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
It's autographed by her.
Yes.
Sure is.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, beautiful picture.
Yes, beautiful piece. Yes, definitely.
September 12th, 1969.
Mm-hmm.
Life magazine was costing a whole 40 cents.
Yes, a whole 40 cents.
And here's Our World again.
Exactly.
Cinderella in Detroit.
Yes. Yeah, she was a mom. They're talking about her in that book, in that magazine, speaking about her and her upcoming as far as her career. Another, like I said,
What was her name?
I do not know. Because they did not print it as you see, like we see the magazines now, how they list all that information. That just show you how they've progressed. They didn't do all that.
Well, we got to get some more stuff over here.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
We're gonna kind of stick with it.
Yeah.
We're gonna stick with it, Beth.
Babe,
Is it we'll
any stack I do.
Oh, well, you could.
Yeah. I can move around.
Yeah, you
All
can
right.
move around.
Okay. All right. Okay, what we got here?
Baseball, everybody.
Well,
Wow, there are a lot of signatures on here.
definitely. That is one of the pieces that I carried around the country, and that bat has 106 autographs on it of former Negro League ball players.
Wow.
106. That probably took me 15 to 17 years to get all of those obtained.
Oh my goodness. So you have this, and we could see this. What I noticed, the signatures. I'm old school because I'm a teacher.
Okay.
But I see the signatures. It seemed important. It's hard to write on a bat.
Definitely.
But it seems important. It was important for them to do the best they could.
What always caught my attention, two things. Every time I would go to one of these former Negro League players' homes, two things always caught my attention. One was the family's awe and disbelief how a person would travel from one part of the country to another just to see Granddaddy. I heard Granddaddy play, but I mean, but I can't believe, so you came all the way over here to see Granddaddy? I said, yeah. I said, Granddaddy is a living legend, I said, but the second thing was how the pride of the player was how happy and how excited they were about someone showing interest in what they did as a ball player.
This is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
What year did you start collecting these on this bat?
That bat's probably 1997.
Oh,
Some of those bats were started going with me in 1997 because we had the Negro League reunion in Kansas City. It was the 75th anniversary of
Now,
Jackie Robinson. The Negro Leagues, actually.
You have more bats than this.
I have, I think last count, 212.
Why do you have 212 bats?
Well, the reason I have not specifically that number, but so many is because not only do I have multi-signed bats, but every time I would go to a player's house, I would have them sign 2 or 3 bats individually just of them in their career.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so every time I saw another ball player, I had to have them sign a bat that was just their bat that I had, for them just to sign, just them by themselves. For example, if I went to see Cecil Kaiser, I would have him sign just the bat, Cecil Kaiser, Homestead Grays, Detroit Stars, in the years he played. And nobody else would sign that bat but him. Nobody else.
Okay.
Now, we were speaking about the lady. We were speaking about her, Miss Minnie Forbes.
Minnie Forbes, yes.
Who's still the last living lady, the last living person, period, that owned the Negro League team. And what this is a collage that was made. It's called The Lady and Her Living Stars. And what this is a collage of pictures of different Negro League players that played in the Detroit Stars when she was the owner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then they had them all signed by those players that she managed and owned at that time.
Well, this is wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so interesting to see a woman
Right.
who owned a team.
Yeah, definitely. That's very. She was definitely
What did
a
she
brand.
do for a living, I wonder?
Okay. After that, she worked at Sears and Roebuck's. That's where she
No, stop.
retired from after baseball. That's what she did
Well,
until she
how
retired.
was she able to? Was it that easy to buy a team?
Well, her uncle was Ted Raspberry. He owned 3 teams at the time. He owned the Kansas City Monarchs and Detroit Stars and the Grand Rapids Black Sox. And there was a rule you could not have more than 2 teams. You could not have 2 teams in the Negro Leagues at the time. And at the time when this transaction happened, he owned the Kansas City Monarchs, like I said, and the Detroit
Oh,
Stars.
okay,
So
okay.
she purchased the Detroit Stars.
Okay, so you have several of these pictures.
Yes, we had a total of probably 19 prints in there left, and there were only 50 were ever made.
Oh,
So,
wow.
like I said, we'll give information out to anyone who's interested in collecting. They can give me a call or.
What's your number?
Well, my direct number for that would be 313-282-8527.
Okay, let's see what's next.
Let's see what we got going next.
This is Black history at its finest, man.
2 big names here. This is the Negro League Museum, which is located in Kansas City, Missouri. Did a poster of Satchel Paige and Buck O'Neil. And what I did is I took that poster with me around and got, I think, about 65 autographs on it.
Wow.
Yeah. And what it is pictures like Buck O'Neil and different, like the broadside. There was advertisement of the game that was coming up, and there's the Newark Eagles that I spoke of, and there's the bus that the Newark.
They had to travel by bus.
Definitely.
Golly.
Definitely. Now, I also may have not mentioned it, but there were also ladies who played in the Negro Leagues.
Oh, I would have been one of those.
Yeah.
I used to love playing. No, I was a good baseball player as a teenager.
This is Mamie Peanut Johnson. She was a pitcher, the only woman pitcher to ever pitch in the Negro Leagues. Pitched 4 years in the Negro Leagues, and she was pretty good. Played with the Indianapolis
Well, what
Clowns.
year did they start?
Well, Tony Stone was the very first one, and she started in 1952, and first full season was
So
1953.
how many women's teams did they have?
Well, the women's team, this is with the men. Oh, no. This is with the men.
They played.
Yeah, she played in the Negro League, the men's Negro League. There was only one league, and that was all men, the Negro League.
Excuse me.
Yeah, she's pitching to men.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how huge this is. Right.
Wow.
So this is called The Queen in Her Court, and it's signed by Miss Mamie Peanut Johnson, who's now passed on, and want to have these.
Wow.
These are also available too.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. This is amazing. Amazing, everybody.
Huge piece right here as far as size. This piece is autographed by, well, I think it has 99 autographs of former Negro League ball players. 99. Hard piece to travel with, but it's got some good ones
Oh,
here.
you travel? Yeah, you went around.
Yes. Now this right here, you may recognize this name, Don Newcomb.
Of course.
Yes, just passed, 92 years old.
Yes.
He was my first full on-camera interview back in 1998. He gave me a full hour interview on camera speaking about the old Negro Leagues, and
Really?
it was unbelievable. Yes, he really pushed
What are
me
you
forward.
going to do with that? I mean, what are you going to do with those things?
I've been approached once or twice about doing a documentary, but you know what? You have to be real careful about who you trust. So all that stuff is locked up. But I've interviewed over 165 different Negro League ball players on camera.
If you ever want to do that, I know a couple of really trustworthy filmmakers.
Okay.
Really, I mean, trustworthy. I mean, because this would be
Unbelievable.
not only that, I think, educational purposes. I'm a teacher, by
Exactly. Another great piece that I traveled around with. It's called Blackball. They made a book called Blackball, and it's
Blackball player.
Yes, yep. And what it is a collage of different. It was a poster that they made to honor the book that they made called Black Ball, and you'll see different pictures from. I think this one's from like 1919. That photo and this photo is the Brown Tennessee Rats. That's the name of the team.
Tennessee Rats?
Yeah, the Brown Tennessee Rats. That was the name of the Negro League team.
Tennessee Rats.
Right, right.
Golly, they could have thought of a more
Right.
engaging.
Name? Kansas City Monarchs, Pittsburgh Crawfords.
The Monarchs, it seems like we've heard a lot about them through the years.
Yes, that was the most powerful, most successful Negro League team throughout the history of Negro League
Did
baseball.
what players came out of there and went to the majors?
Satchel Paige.
Satchel Paige.
No, the big name, Jackie Robinson. Jackie Robinson played 1 year in the Negro Leagues, 1945 Kansas City Monarchs.
Wow.
Yes, and then that's where Branch Rickey came and plucked him out and signed him to the Major League contract from the Kansas City Monarchs.
You know, to be a pioneer, you have to go through so much. 'Cause
Definitely.
He went, he might have been signing all that stuff, but he went through holy, you know what.
Yeah, the story will never be fully told. And what we hear, even in all of the books, I think it's been 27 books that they've written on it that I know about. And and Mrs. Robinson said, if you didn't sit there and live it like she did with him, the book still can't tell you the real story. And what he sacrificed basically himself for the better of the African American in not only sports but society.
Right.
Not sport. This is bigger than
Right.
baseball.
Right.
You know. And
Baseball was a metaphor.
that was a metaphor. Yes.
Yeah.
That was just a metaphor.
Black ball.
Black ball. Yes. And it just shows you different teams. You know, asked about the cities. You know, you had the New York Lincoln Giants from the 1920s. You know, there's great Josh Gibson.
Yeah.
Okay. And you had the Kansas City Monarchs. You had Pittsburgh. There's Cool Papa Bell, another name that we hear about.
Yes.
One of the super fastest players that ever played.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Wow. I'm piling up.
That other pile right to the right. Yeah, that whole big old pile. Without that one on the top.
We got 9 minutes.
9 minutes? Okay, let's talk about Mr. Double Duty Ratcliffe. This is baseball. This guy right here. He was a pioneer in the game of sports and business. The reason they called him Double Duty is because he could pitch one game and he could also bat in the same game.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wait a minute. Doesn't a pitcher bat anyway?
No, not now. They have it separate. You know, like one league you can bat, and the other league you can't. It's called a DH, designated hitters. You know, and the pitchers and the pitcher.
So the pitcher doesn't.
He does not hit.
When did they stop doing that?
It's been a few years now. It's been a few years now. It's been a few years. Yeah, all of that. I had a stack there. I have a stack. Yep, all of that. Yeah, that's been a while. So Double Duty played 37 years.
Oh my gosh.
That's cumulative years of playing and managing. Okay, and he's one of the icons. He also was a big businessman in Chicago.
Okay, let's go. Let's move it.
All right. Hey, we also mentioned that.
Oh yeah.
This is a huge piece here.
Tommy Smith and John Carlos, everybody, the Olympics.
1968.
I remember.
If some of us are old enough to live through that, I was only 2, so I did not live it.
I lived through it.
But I did have the honor to meet both of these iconic figures.
And they signed it.
Both of them have autographed this piece. It's one of a kind.
I'm surprised you didn't have it framed.
It's on its way to the shop.
You know what's so crazy? You know, my son played at University of Dayton.
Uh-huh.
And do you know that people called, they wanted something with his autograph on it?
Uh-huh.
And I got all this stuff. I don't have him sign nothing. I mean, seriously. And it was the Caucasian people.
Exactly. Now, once again, we're going back to what I spoke on earlier. We do not cherish what we have in front of us. They are the ones that have our history. It's our fault. Now, let's stop right here. You hear this all the time. But the man did. No, the man, that's so old and tired.
Oh, I know that.
It's not the man. It's us. Wake up to what you have in front of you.
Right.
You know, I always tell the families of the ball players when I go, you have granddad standing right here. Go get a dozen baseballs, have granddad sign those balls. Because Ray and Tom, they're going to come here looking for him, and they'll do it for him. They'll get him to sign it, and then they'll sell it. And they're making money off your own family heritage that you didn't even invest in yourself.
Okay.
Now, let's go back to some original history here. We're looking at the original photo print.
The signing, Jackie Wilson signing his contract.
Jackie Robinson.
I mean, Robinson. Jackie Robinson.
Yes, Jackie Robinson signing this contract from 1945. First professional partner. This is an original photo. This is not a copy. This is an original photo that I obtained through auction, and it also has the date, stamp on it, and the
the
photo,
newspaper.
the newspaper from that day, all in the back.
Oh, wow.
Yes, this comes from the photo from the
Archives.
archives of the Associated Press. And then we have another photo of Jackie playing in 1947, his rookie year.
And this is an authentic photo, everybody.
Authentic, yep. And that is Mr. Stan Musial sliding into second.
Oh, God, history.
Real photo.
History.
Real photo. Real photo.
You have a museum. He does, everyone.
A couple of pieces I want to get into before our time runs out.
Yeah.
We had black newspapers, people.
Well,
We had black newspapers in our day.
what newspaper is
This
that?
one right here is the African American. This is the Baltimore newspaper. You know, we had the Michigan Chronicle here, and in Baltimore they had the African American Journal. Now what this is a newspaper speaking about Jackie Robinson coming into camp. You see, Jackie arrives by plane. Sam Lacey was a great journalist on the East Coast for the Pittsburgh Courier.
And they also have people column, Is Paul Robeson Afraid?
Yes, that is a whole.
And this was 1950, everybody. You remember he was going through these things about communism and so forth. It says, how does this giant star feel to be followed by the FBI? This is amazing.
Now,
amazing.
At the time, Mr. Paul Robeson was world-renowned and at the top of his game worldwide.
Right.
The FBI, because of his beliefs in communism and Russia and all of this, United States FBI is not going to stand for that.
And his belief was because he wanted to be treated equally.
Equally,
right.
And they treated him equally over there. So,
right.
they had a mission to bring him down, and his career was never the same after that.
It wasn't.
Never the same. This is another iconic piece. Hank Aaron breaking Babe Ruth's record. This is the original newspaper from the Atlanta Journal. The next day, and I met Mr. Hank Aaron. Like I said, it was my first autograph I ever received, and I ended up meeting him in person. I had him sign this newspaper in person.
Right.
Original newspaper.
We got 3 minutes.
3 minutes? Now let's talk about Mr. President Obama, since we have 3 minutes.
Oh, yes. Yes. Wait, let me.
I got it. All right.
Oh, wow. Oh, yes.
2 things happened. 2013, August 5th, I was invited, 4 historians and 12 Negro League ball players were invited to the White House to be honored by Mr. President Obama. And these
Mr. President Obama.
Mr. President Obama. Yes, definitely. It was a great day for me. Definitely. I was happy about it. And this is the prints that they made to commemorate that day. And they're signed by different ball players. You know, and then you got Mamie, lady that played Negro League.
Right.
Yep. Mr. Duckett and Cesar Kaiser right here. That's our Detroit guy. And, the president. So it was a great day.
And got him as a little boy playing baseball. Oh, my God.
Right.
Listen, everybody, we got to go. Yeah, in a minute. Louis, to give us the number again where people, what is that Dodgers pitcher?
Oh, that is Jackie Robinson. After winning the World Series in 1955, I believe. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
this
definitely.
Is such a clean picture.
It's an original print from the Associated Press, one of a kind, with letter authenticity on the back.
Who has that arm around it?
I think that's Carl Eskin, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah.
He didn't care.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
he didn't care. It wasn't always like that. At the beginning, they cared big time.
Okay. Well, how can people follow up on this?
Well, they can email me at theautographman11@hotmail.com, autographman11@hotmail.com, or they can give me a phone call at 313-282-8527.
Wow. I'm so glad we got to do this again. I'm still as excited. This is great. So value, let's just say this. Let's value what we have.
Oh, definitely.
And when we run into people, have them sign it,
Definitely.
We have to value our history.
We have to value our history.
As well as other people do.
That's right. It's dying every day. Let's keep it alive and inform young people of what we've had and where we've came from.
Thank you, Louis.
No, thank you.
Thank you, Beth. Oh, I gotta say that.
No doubt.
She helped carry.
No doubt.
She was our technician. Okay, everybody. I'll see you again next Friday with a great show. And thank you, Louis.
Thank you.